Right now, we're living in the 21st century, and a lot of information out there is super, super complex. If we look at it, the four biggest businesses in the world, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft combined, they hold a total of about 1.2 million terabytes of information on the internet. About 100 years ago, there were only about 52 terabytes of information in books around the world. So in the past 100 years, the amount of data and information that we have that's accessible to everyone has grown magnitudes of size. The problem with this is that it's hard to figure out how this data interacts with each other and how to navigate this whole landscape. And it's the problem that I'm trying to solve with Backen. This started about 2 years ago when I was learning about self-driving cars, and I really wanted to figure out how they were programmed. Like, we have self-driving cars here at CES, but do you actually know how they work on the back end? I can tell you now that self-driving cars are powered through reinforcement learning, and if you want to learn about reinforcement learning, you have to learn about machine learning. If you want to learn about machine learning, you have to learn about linear algebra and calculus. But myself, 2 years ago, I've never gotten a computer science degree. I haven't even taken computer science class in my high school yet. I don't know what any of these things are, and there's no guidance out there on what I should be doing. Because of this, it isn't very clear what you should be learning next or how you should even approach some of these big problems like self-driving cars or quantum computing or anything else like that. So basically what Backen allows you to do is enter any topic or any research paper. It will take that research paper and try to figure out what prior knowledge you need in order to understand that research paper. And that might be many layers deep. For example, in this case, this is four layers deep, but it keeps on going until you get to some sort of foundational knowledge. Essentially, it shows you all the steps you need to learn before you can get to that final goal of whatever you're super passionate about. And if you think about it, this is super important for the world because there's so much new data out there, especially in fields like artificial intelligence, that you can't really create a customized curriculum by hand. Every single day there's new research coming out in different research papers, and you can't figure out everything that's happening there. Also in areas like quantum computing or brain-computer interfaces, there isn't a lot of curated data in the first place. This is a quote from Elon Musk. "Teachers do not explain why kids are being taught a subject. The why of things is extremely important because their brain has evolved to discard information that it thinks has no relevance." I think a technology like Backen would be super important in the education system, because instead of teaching students calculus and not telling them what it's actually going to be used for in the future, they can explore their passions, for example, self-driving cars, and realize that actually to learn about self-driving cars or to actually get there, you have to learn calculus first. It's also super important in businesses. Today we talk about how employees from businesses need to be lifelong learners. Businesses need to stay in front of innovation, and everyone in the business world is constantly learning. So a platform like Backen could help employees figure out what they need to be learning next and save the company time and money. This is a bit of a snippet from the code for my program. Essentially, I'm doing key topic extraction on research papers. I'm then running that through one of my own machine learning algorithms, which tries to determine which of those key topics are most likely to be relevant prior knowledge that you need to learn first, and then use a bit of graph theory to find relevance between that research paper and other research papers and try to build this knowledge tree of sorts to figure out what you should be learning before you're learning something else. And this isn't fully complete yet, but in the future, I hope that we can enter any term into my program, maybe even machine learning, and have my program spit out a whole curriculum like this that is super accurate, super clean, for people to learn about these different technologies that are so accessible on the internet now, but it isn't very clear how you should be learning about them. Thank you.
That looked like my New York City subway system. This is what it looked like. But so, you live where?
I live in Toronto, Canada.
Okay, and you're in what grade now?
I'm in grade 12.
And you're going to college in the fall?
Yes, I will be.
And you're going to keep working on Backen and keep. Do you feed it at night? Like you just keep giving it more learning?
Yeah. So last time I trained it was probably about 1 week ago before I actually came here. But I'm constantly trying to improve it, especially with like accuracy. You can always improve those things.
And what do you do when you're not feeding your machine?
Well, I'm learning more. Like there's so many different technologies out there that are going to have huge impacts in the future. One of my most recent interests has been in brain-computer interfaces, which I think will have huge implications in the future. That's one of my big focuses.
Yeah. Well, you see some on the show floor this afternoon. Thank you.